February 26, 2026. The official DNA account announced that the game had been hacked, leading to, quote, abnormal display content appearing on the game interface when launching the game through the launcher and selecting servers. The devs claim to be taking this seriously and outline their next steps. March 18th, 2026. Just under a month later, DNA was hacked again. This time, it was much worse, with users reporting malware was injected to the game. And though the devs acted quickly, players weren't exactly happy with their response. Today, we'll explore what happened, what DNA should have done, and what happened to some other live service games after cyber attacks. A little backstory. DNA has had a rocky launch, to put it lightly. Its departure from its gacha game roots was met with anticipation and excitement, but this decision was made late in development and many vestiges of gacha gaming remain. Here's an example. Despite its general free-to-play friendliness, DNA's cash shop is a confusing mess of decisions, such as forcing you to pay for each recolor of an accessory separately, in a game where most other items can be dyed. And for that matter, you're pretty much forced to purchase dyes with real money too. Doesn't make much sense for a game focused on getting cosmetics. Mobile was definitely not a priority in development either. So you're probably wondering why anyone would play this, right? Despite the bugs and problems, DNA offered something tantalizing. A character collecting game where you can earn every character for free. In fact, in DNA, free-to-play players can get just as strong as spenders. For me, however, there are three main points where DNA shines: the story, the music, and the characters. The creative team behind the game did such an incredible job, even if aspects such as the character models couldn't quite hold up. So, as you can imagine, fans are eager for this game to succeed so that they can experience the story, witness new additions to the gameplay, and improve bit by bit. Version 1.2 contained no new main story update and focused mainly on improving the quality of the game, so things have been a little stagnant. Players were wondering if certain characters would ever get buffed, if Demon Wedge grinding would be made more enjoyable, or if the cash shop would be adjusted soon. And then, the hacks happened. It started on February 24th, according to user reports. Players who logged in suddenly found a message on their screens that warned players that the game's security was lacking and to be careful. The funniest part of this message is right in the middle where it says, "By the way, for me, the game itself is kind of fine." And this hack wasn't an attack so much as a warning. It revealed a major vulnerability in DNA's security system, one that players, and this very message, reasoned could be exploited for something far more sinister. On February 26th, the official DNA Twitter account apologized for this issue, reassuring players that payment details and personal information were safe. Going forward, they claimed to comprehensively strengthen security protections and upgrade server access control policies to prevent similar incidents from occurring, and to maintain transparent communication. But, well, you'll see how that turns out. At this point, DNA had a target on its back. If this message was to be believed, it exposed a huge weakness. If one hacker could exploit one vulnerability, then that could mean there could be others, and not all hackers are so harmless. On March 18th, the very thing players feared the most came to pass. Someone managed to inject malware into the game, leaving players who downloaded the update vulnerable. This incident blew up to the point where sites like Kotaku ended up covering it, with a lot of misinformation in true Kotaku fashion. But let's take a look at their article anyway. According to the article, the infection came from a Trojan called Umbral Stealer, which was caught by many users' antivirus programs. The article attempts to explain what this does in layman's terms. Umbral Stealer is an info stealer virus that can record keystrokes and take screenshots. In basic terms, it attempts to harvest sensitive information from the machines it infects, as it's primarily geared towards stealing users' passwords and cryptocurrency. The virus was distributed via patch to Duet Night Abyss's launcher, which went live on Steam at 7:39 a.m. UTC on March 18th. Later that day on March 18th, the official Twitter account put out a vague message, referring to the incident not as a hack, but as, quote, abnormal game login issues. This left players scrambling to figure out the truth, and the real truth spread quickly on social media. On Reddit, this user posted an image related to the hack saying, "Imagine having an actual login stealer and calling it abnormal game login issues. They advise players to change their passwords on everything important just to be safe." I'm going to go ahead and echo that advice. If you've been playing Duet Night Abyss, reset your passwords and re-download the game to be safe. Bafflingly, this vague login issues update noted that players would be compensated with 100 Foxine, which is a laughably small amount of free-to-play currency. A currency that players have been complaining can't be used to buy anything worthwhile. Just to put this in perspective, things you can buy with 100 Foxine include not even one single standard banner pull, or exactly one consumable die. And for some reason, it was only claimable on the day that the incident occurred. The next day, the official Twitter put out a much better statement detailing the attack, what was going on in what time frame, how they dealt with it, and how they were going to deal with it in the future. Here's what they said. The root cause of this incident was a malicious attack originating from a specific region, targeting our internal office systems and live servers. As security is a vital pillar of a live product, this incident has served as a serious wake-up call for our team. They even gave a justification for why they kept things quiet on the day of the attack. Look, we sincerely apologize for not providing a full response on the day of the incident. We wanted to ensure a complete review of the problem and finalize our security measures before providing a detailed explanation to the community. Regardless of the reason, the 100 Foxine compensation from March 18th seems absolutely wild considering they knew they were dealing with a cyber attack. Anyway, the devs then outlined exactly what they were going to do to keep this from happening ever again. 1. Real-time monitoring and tampering alerts. We have deployed a real-time monitoring and tampering alert system for core file systems. Any unauthorized access or attempted modification of game resources will trigger an immediate alert, ensuring we can detect and block abnormal behavior instantly. 2. Minimize network and access control. We have conducted a thorough audit and restriction of all ports and paths used for external access to sensitive files. Following the principle of least privilege, we have closed all non-essential access channels to fundamentally improve file confidentiality and storage security. 3. Hardening of sensitive file ports. All external access ports have been strictly consolidated. By adhering to rigorous cybersecurity protocols, we have closed non-essential communication ports and access paths to build a more robust defensive perimeter for core files and sensitive assets. But again, someone was feeling very stingy because the compensation for players was 10 pulls on a gacha banner for an outfit when you'll probably need to pull around 80 times to get anything. And the kicker? This reward was only claimable for about a week. Players are terrified to log in, and the middling compensation only lasts a week. What were they thinking? If you're wondering where Kotaku's bad research that I mentioned earlier comes in, it's in this line. The statement also says that players will be rewarded with 5 commission manuals and 10 prismatic hourglasses as a way of further apology, which apparently amounts to 10 free random skins. As I said before, 10 prismatic hourglasses lets you pull on a skin gacha 10 times. So if you get a single skin from this, you'll be incredibly lucky. You should probably take this entire article with a grain of salt. The aftermath of these events was brutal, especially considering all the social media traction it got. As you might expect, this catastrophe and the devs' response is wearing out the patience of even the most dedicated fans. Like many fans, I have hundreds of hours in the game and look forward to each new update and patch. And yet, I haven't logged into the game since the first hack occurred. Breaches of security are scary and nobody wants to risk their data in any way. The second hack on the game proved that I was right to be cautious, and that makes me sad. But other games prove there is still hope after security incidents. Funnily enough, the game that inspired DNA dealt with a hacking incident the very next day. On March 20th, 2026, Warframe had to put out a notice that the direct invite system is temporarily disabled due to some bad actors figuring out how to change the text in the invite system and replace it with silly or offensive paragraphs. Not nearly as bad as the DNA situation, but it goes to show that something like this can happen to anyone. In fact, it also happened to Infinity Nikki on December 5th, 2024, but in this case the attack was on Infinity Nikki's website. The message was similar in nature to the message in DNA's first hack. In fact, it appears to have been carried out by the exact same person. A laundry list of other games have survived issues like this just fine, and I can only hope that DNA will find a way to respond with action and reassure fans in the coming patches. It's hard to watch this happen to a game you love. Okay, DNA messed up a lot here, but how exactly could they do better? I've got 3 main ideas. 1. Respond quickly and with more clarity. Players shouldn't have to wait a day to learn their PC may have been compromised. 2. Give players advice on how to scan their PCs for anything suspicious. The public post suggested their patch was enough to make the game safe moving forward, but what about DNA's most loyal players whose PCs were already infected? 3. Make compensation matter and make it claimable for a much longer period. A trust-shattering incident like this should be compensated with, at minimum, enough gacha pulls for an entire outfit. Warframe gives out entire characters every now and then as rewards, and I feel that would also be a great form of reward despite the fact that characters are free to grind in both games. For example, DNA could give every player a token that lets them trade for enough shards to unlock a copy of any character in the game, even the ones that are locked behind weekly bosses at the moment. Gestures like these would go a long way towards showing DNA's players that they matter. I'd love it if DNA took a leaf out of Kurogene's book. Just look at this apology letter Punishing Grey Raven put out on March 14th, 2026. In this, they apologized for the story direction and rewards that were making players unhappy, and promised to increase rewards going forward. They also committed to a dev communication series where they will, quote, share periodic updates on their development process. This sort of communication is sorely lacking on DNA's side. Having been sponsored by DNA on multiple occasions, I feel it is extra important to keep potential players informed of any major incidents the game may endure. I love the game, but due to these incidents, I won't be logging in until the upcoming 1.3 patch. Right now, DNA needs an injection of positivity badly. Version 1.3 is make or break for many players at this point, so it has to be good. It has to be the best thing DNA has ever delivered, and it has to go out without problems. A preview livestream has been announced for March 27th, and I suspect players will be watching it with bated breath. I'll be covering it for sure, so you can expect an update on where the game is heading in a few days. As a player, I want to feel safe to log in and enjoy the game. As a fan, I have to hope that DNA is taking security seriously now, because I desperately want to play more story and enjoy the brand new upcoming characters we've never seen before. Up until now, every playable character has been featured in pre-launch beta tests, so this is a pretty big deal for DNA. Su Yi and Camilla gameplay will be shown off for the first time ever, and maybe we'll get to see some brand new characters for the first time too. But will it be enough to restore trust after an incident like this? Time will tell. All I know for certain is this: nothing will stand between me and Camilla. Thanks for watching.